Hi, my name is Brady Leffler. I'm the fire chief in Maricopa, city of Maricopa, and I'm sitting down talking with InMaricopa today. My hometown, I was born in Santa Fe, New Mexico, moved to Arizona when I was very young, about a year old, and then grew up in Yuma, in hot Yuma. Loved it as a kid, didn't want to stay there. My family moved up to Scottsdale, went to high school in Scottsdale. Took a little bit of an interest in the fire service just from afar, but worked at Motorola for 6 years, but then volunteered for the fire department. Volunteered for a couple of years for Chandler Fire, then volunteered for another year and a half with Mesa Fire, and then started my career in 1986 with the city of Mesa. Spent just short of 25 years in the city of Mesa, retired as an assistant chief, and moved up to Colorado. Worked up in Colorado as a deputy chief for about a year. Didn't really enjoy it. It was very different than what I was used to, quite a few years behind the times. And then got a call from a lot of friends that I have here in the Valley, said that the city of Maricopa was looking for a interim fire chief. Would I be interested? And I said, not only yes, but heck yes. Honestly, it was in worse shape than I could have ever imagined. The morale was horrible. They were not meeting industry standards in any way, shape, or form. The big positive side was the people were fantastic. The firefighters were really committed to doing the job. They just didn't have, in my opinion, they just didn't have a plan to how to do it right. And so I came in and I basically warned them that there's going to be a lot of changes, and it's been changing ever since. I brought a lot of the concepts from Mesa that were tried and true from a larger department that I think they needed. And when they started to see, this department turning the corner, and it was a long road, but I believe now that we are positioned to be, and I think we actually are, one of the better departments in the Valley. We go to regional training, and I know a lot of people in the Valley, and I get a lot of comments about the quality of our service. We've reduced our response times. We have developed long-range planning in terms of a 5-year plan and a 10-year plan for where we want this department to go. We currently have 4 people in the Mesa Academy. Upon their graduation, we will, in my opinion, reach full staffing. It'll be the first time in 6 years. Outstanding. There's about 72 people in the department, and front line, probably 58 that are response personnel. Honestly, and that's I think everybody would say that, but this is true. We've got some real talent. My plan is to stay another 3 or so years, and my focus now is setting this department up for the future with succession planning. The current city manager was kind enough to let me make some moves and some reorganizational moves to bring some people in that I believe are very, very talented and capable of running this department. They just need some time. And so my focus has shifted from building the department to basically getting it ready to move in the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years. Probably the attitude. Honestly, the attitude was not good when I got here. There was no trust. The previous fire chief in particular, the one that they had a vote of no confidence on, they did not trust him. They did not trust anything that was put forth in terms of a plan. They didn't feel like they had a voice. I've given them that voice, I've worked real hard with the labor group to build that relationship. And I think that overall, just the sense that they believe in the administration now. They see a plan. They understand that we have a definite plan moving forward. Well, the growth of the city is a challenge. There's a lot of new businesses coming in. Our prevention bureau is at max right now. We're using people from the field to come in and augment the amount of plans review and inspections and things like that. So we're working on that real hard. Changing technologies, electric vehicles, you know, the dangers out there to the firefighters are substantial. And I think they're much worse than when I was out in the field, based on some of the new stuff that's out there, the battery storage stations and things like that. Just keeping up with the changing times. It kind of goes in line with the reorganization that we've just done. It basically puts people in the right places with the right tools to take this administration to a new level, to organize more accurately, to integrate with our surrounding partners, both mutual aid and automatic aid partners. We're trying to do some of our own teaching. We are upgrading our technology in terms of getting the word out, because sometimes it's difficult with their schedules. You know, some teleconferencing, things like that. I think it's going to bring us to another professional level. When people come here to visit in this trailer, which is again much better than what we used to have, but it's still it's difficult here. Sometimes when we have sensitive conversations, we go to our cars because the walls are thin here, and sometimes it's personnel sensitive material that we don't want to be overheard, and that will go away with the new building. You know, we've been on the previous place to this one was old and run down and had multiple problems. I won't go into the details. This place, thanks in large part to ADOT, because ADOT has helped us with this move. This is much better, but again, it's still a trailer, and it's still mobile, and it still has paper thin walls, and we still have issues with rodents and the like. But again, there's a beautiful new building on the horizon. We look at, as far as the fleet is concerned, we look at fuel efficiency. We look at utilizing, in terms of our large ladder truck, we use what's called a ladder tender concept. We put them in a smaller engine. About 80 to 85% of our calls are medical in nature. So we opt not to take the big, large ladder truck, but yet we equip the smaller, more nimble, more fuel efficient truck with the necessary equipment in the event that we did get a call for a fire when they're out. I know the city is looking at centralizing all the printers. There's a lot going on now to reduce costs. The new building, we built the new building with efficiency in mind. We put in, I can't remember the name of the term, but it's actually foam walls with concrete between. I believe it gives us almost an R50 rating in the walls, which is very energy efficient. Just about everything we do, we try to scale back or do what we can to reduce costs. They'd probably answer that question better than I can. Essentially, they are part of the Public Safety Retirement System, PSPRS, and the majority of firefighters in the valley that are part of that system do not pay Social Security. But way back when the city began, there were some issues with how that was orchestrated, and so they were charged with Social Security, and the city made an agreement with them to help them with that, because it was a just a mistake at that time. I'm not sure if that answers your question, but there's been ongoing discussions about how to deal with that. I think it's kind of where I want it to be now in terms of structure, in terms of organization. I want to see increased training. I want to see more certified safety officers, and I want to see this department completely prepared for what I feel is going to be explosive growth in the city, and not to be behind that curve. So if we can make that, do some things now, get some things in place in terms of hiring, get some things in place as far as funding for stations and fire trucks and things like that, and get that ready for the next 5 or 10 years, which I think is going to be amazing.